Well, I'm excited today for our show today is a collaboration of three of our organizations coming together for a topic that is very important to our community and especially to the men of our community. So today, tell my 2013 story, go to the doctor, and we are glad and happy to have Mr. Lewis Colson, who is the founder of
Project Better Man Incorporated,
to come together to bring out the alert and make the sound to our community, and especially again to the men of our community, about issues of health. So Lewis, if you will, tell us a little about your organization and how it got started and what is the purpose of your organization.
Well, Calvin, first of all, let me thank you for this great opportunity to come and to tell my story. And I want to also thank God for giving me yet another day to be able to tell the story. In 2009, I was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, which for those who know anything about prostate cancer, that is the final stage. The doctors told my family that I had anywhere from 18 to 24 months to live based upon their previous engagement with people with stage 4 prostate cancer. But I knew that the God that I serve was going to take me as far as he wanted me to go. And so now as I celebrate my 4th year of living and almost 2 years beyond what they said, one of the great things that happened to me during that period of time is that God gave me this vision about Project Better Man. One of the things that I discovered, Calvin, is that we as men are not doing as much as that we can or should regarding not only our health, but our relationships with our families, with our relationships in the community. And so Project Better Man is an effort to not only address health issues, but also to help men become better men, and basically starting with boys. And I think that Project Better Man is going to, in the next few years, become a word and an organization a lot of people are going to know about because of what we're going to be doing and the successes that we're going to experience.
That's, again, one of the things I want to point out, that part of what we have been doing in this series of shows that we have done is to talk about how do we bring the resource of our community together to work in a unified way to address the issues and the ills of our community. And truly, health is a major issue for our community. And I noticed in your brochure, as you just pointed out, you talked about several things that make up a healthy man.
Absolutely, Calvin. What we call it in Project Better Man, the 10 cells concept. What we look at is that if a man will use these 10 things, and I'm saying this because I use them every day myself. One, if a man spiritually is connected to God and recognizes that God has ordained the role of a man, and we clearly understand that when you give your life to God and when you understand biblical principles, then that's the first step towards being a successful man. The second thing is God has also defined clearly what the role of a man is in a family. We're to love our families, to love one another. We're supposed to do specific things, but it all revolves around a family. And I think that one of the things that happens in most of our communities, men aren't playing that role that we should with our families. The third thing is emotional stability, Calvin. I think that too many of us don't recognize that 80% of most illnesses are directly related to how we deal with stress, how we're not coping with the realities that we're confronted with in life. The fourth thing that I do is to make sure that physically and nutritionally I'm eating properly, I'm doing the right things so that my body will be able to withstand the fiery darts that are going to be coming at me. The fifth thing is to make sure that I understand that I'm the captain of my ship. So whatever comes into my body through my 5 senses, I'm aware of what they are. And then for those things that are not good for me, I rebuke them and understand that it's not good for me. And anything that's bad, it comes from Satan, and anything good comes from God. The sixth thing is to make sure that we associate ourselves with people who are positive. And that's why I love being with you and brothers like you, because you know where you're going, and that's one thing every brother needs to understand, where they're going. The seventh thing is to make sure that intellectually that we are doing the kinds of things that we need to do on a daily basis so that we can keep ourselves stimulated, our minds moving, learning something new every day. And certainly with technology and with the internet, you can learn something new every day. The eighth thing is to have a financial plan. I think a lot of the brethren that have turned to selling drugs and criminal activity is only because they don't understand, how to do the things properly financially. And then the ninth is philosophically, you got to have your clearly defined values. What do you stand for, what you believe in? And the 10th thing that I can practice every day is recognize that as an African people, that we are from Mother Earth. And many of us have hide in the house, and particularly young people with the little, the games that they play. You got to be outside. You got to have a relationship with nature. So those are 10 quick things that I do every day, which is giving me a chance as a survivor to do those things on a daily basis, as opposed to, succumbing to the pharmaceutical industry that says take this pill, take that pill for all of what ails you. And I don't want to do that anymore, Calvin.
Well, as I, again, listen to you speak and have read your material, I can see that this is a well thought out plan. One of the things as we do work with our young people, I think that talking to them about health is going to be as critical as any of the issues that we can impart to them. Living a long and healthy life should be every man's goal. And we know that we are raised in a society that rushes us so fast and so through things that we don't pay attention to some of the things that you just brought out. I know you mentioned in your statement here about God.
Certainly.
And as we talk to our young people, one of the things we have to advocate, you have to have a spiritual grounding. You have to know that your source of power and strength come from a higher place than just from within ourselves, but that the power does exist within ourselves.
That's right, that's right.
If we tap into that resource that God gives us. And I'm hearing that and I'm seeing that in your program. As you have been out in the community and you've been talking, and what have you seen in regards to how our community has been affected by ill health?
Well, I see that most families, if you ask a family, is there anyone in their family suffering from any kind of health challenges, almost every single family will say yes, and then we ask who, then generally it is generally a male. And I think we have been programmed and conditioned to live a certain kind of way. We've been programmed and conditioned to eat certain ways. And one of the things that I see all around the city is people with ill health is only because they've accepted the fact that some people say that this is how we're supposed to live. You're supposed to eat this way. You're supposed to eat that way and do the things that you do. We don't have to do those kinds of things, because the reality is that more of us are dying, and almost every illness there is a disparity between how long a man lives versus a woman, how long blacks versus white. And I think that one of the things that we're trying to do with Project Better Man is to get young brethren, especially, to understand that you don't have to live the way that you do. You don't have to be in the physical condition that you're in. You don't have to succumb to the pressures and the challenges of life. But recognize that you didn't come here by yourself. There's nothing that you do by yourself. No man is an island. Every man is connected to somebody else. And that's why it's important, again, as I go around the city, that I take my message wherever I go, and I try and be a living testimony, because anybody who remember back in 2009 when I was challenged with the diagnosis of stage 4 prostate cancer, it was it in the eyes of the so-called experts. But I knew that my God had more for me to do, and I've been doing this now, Calvin. This is my 40th year of going out here on the highways and the byways trying to do God's work.
Great testimony, Lewis. And I think as we continue the discussion, we're going to get more into the depths of how, when we are faced with challenges, we do not succumb to the challenge, but overcome the challenge through a number of the things that Lewis has pointed out to us in his program. And one of the things we want to emphasize to you again, and I heard him say it, you don't have to go along with what mainstream society is trying to convince us of. There's greater gifts that lie ahead.